Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of the controller teardown, customization and rebuild. So today we're going to run through both the, not so much the customization, but showing the customization that's done to the controller, as well as the rebuild itself, and then the final product. What you have just seen on the first little clip there was a video of the faceplate, or at least the front faceplate on its initial grey primer covering, with everything masking taped over. Then here you can see all of the parts laid out, including the battery housing taken apart, the button mapping section taken apart, the circuit boards, the trigger locks taken out, all of the buttons taken out and ready to go, the initial shell. Of course, the buttons aren't taken off that inside unit yet, but here we go. So today we're going to be showing you how to take out, or at least what you need to do to take out the front buttons. So the select, start, Xbox guide button, mode select button, ABXY, the sync button on the top, and if we go to the back, we will go to the screws that you need to locate with a Torx 8 screwdriver. So 2 on the green circuit board, another 4 on the blue circuit board. Directly in the center, of course, you have the headphone port. Just going to fast forward this little section here. Of course, you don't want to see this in real time. You do have some support bars there to push it round so it doesn't become slack, which adds another bit of rigidity to it. That's all of these screws taken out of the main section. Now this part, you can do it a lot more, I'm used to this now, but you can do it a lot safer. Again, have a little bit of trouble just wrangling past that support bar. There's one on the right hand side of the circuit board when you're looking from this direction, and then one at the bottom left, which is a little bit more tough. It's a little bit more snug. So you just need to make sure that when you are lifting it off, do not pull too hard. I need to reiterate that the cabling for the shocks on the bottom of the controller is very fine. You could quite easily take off any of the soldered sections to the circuit board and then damage the shocks, and then they're no longer working. You might have to solder it back on again. Again, you'd rather not do that, so be careful. There's all the buttons taken out now. We'll just push the little protective section there for the triggers, and that's what you're left with. So that's ABXY, back button, sync button. Here we go. This is where we're going into the customized section now. So we have white buttons with a blue surrounding, I will show you in a moment there. There is the shell we've went for. So again, it's a bit of a wacky design, but I thought I'd be a little bit different this time. And a blue housing on the back. So I'll just peel this back. Just clip in the circuits to each other. Take off the rubber protective section there, and the contact section, and the mode button. We'll put the white guide button back in first, which is another customized section. So taking out the X from the center of the guide button on the new controllers, and customize that so it is a nice flat white. Gold start and select buttons, as you know them, back and menu buttons on the Xbox. There we go, another gold, again with blue surround, so at least it does not clash with the shell itself. Place the synchronization button back in again. We did not need to recolor that at all, as we did not change the bumpers or the top covering. Again, white, flat white buttons there with a blue surround. Again, with us having a mixed blue and white covering, we did do the blue and white just to ensure that they kind of blended quite well with each other. Double checking the locations. What you will find when you're taking these apart, each one of them have dedicated slots and dedicated ways to put them in, so you can't really go wrong. You will notice the difference if it is wrong when you put it in, as you will not be able to press the button. Also, it could cause issues when you're trying to close the case, so it's quite obvious you can't really go wrong in this section. The final white button. And then we put the rubber contact pad back on and the mode select button. Make sure everything's pressed in nicely. Put the face plates back down. And make sure it is over the support bar on the bottom of the shell. There we go. We'll apply the first screw to put that a little bit of a rigidity so we can continue to put everything back together. But at least one of the screws are in, so it gives you a little bit of support there when you're trying to work on the rest of it. Personally, I always go for the center and right near the buttons first. The reason for that is the buttons, especially the largest button, which is the to the right hand side of the controller, if that accidentally presses against the ground when you're trying to put it back together, it can push it out and then push the circuit board back out. Obviously, if it twists at all a little bit, even if you have done it whilst you're putting it back together, you may result in you having to take it apart again to ensure the button contacts correctly. Again, it's just hassle you don't need, so make sure you double check and put those screws in first. Lastly, for the blue board, putting them in right next to the shocks there, the final two screws. And then put the headphone jack back in again. Give it a nice clip to ensure contact with the circuit boards through the port in the center on both green and blue. There we go. I did need to connect some cabling again here, which gave me a little bit of issue, so I won't bore you with it. These little cables do have small circular sections. Tweezers are a much better option. Try and put it back on like your fingertips, so do not copy what I did here. if you ever have these two bits of cables that come off, use tweezers to help you a little bit. I also put the little protective sections back in there for the triggers, or the bumper buttons should I say. There we go, contact points, I'll show you right here, and that's for the bumper buttons. Make sure you've got a good adhesive contact, but also to protect them and help with the longevity. There we go. So that's the buttons back in there, gold, white and white. So next step, putting the D-pad back in, putting the joysticks back in again, the adjustable joysticks, or analog sticks as you like to call them. We'll put the bumper buttons back on first, otherwise known as shoulder buttons. So you clip it over the edge there and then pull it slightly towards you so it goes over the top, which you'll see there. As soon as you've got it over the first one, it easily clips over the rest. There we go. And push down so those clip on. That's all back to normal. Just test them. Easiest way to test them is to push the trigger down and make sure it's clicking away. As long as it's clicking away when the trigger's pushed down, you are good to go. Next, we are reapplying those analog sticks again. So the adjustable analog sticks, they are screw. So ensure you screw them back on clockwise. Again, they remove coming off counterclockwise. On the first video I did advise to be quite careful when you are unscrewing them counterclockwise, especially initially. Once you've done it once, they come off much easier. But the initial time you take off analog sticks on the Elite Series 2, they are very difficult, and if you apply too much force, too much pressure, you can snap the threads, and then it's completely broken, and there are no replacement parts for that as yet. Next, we're putting the D-pad back in. Always make sure the tallest prong on the bottom of the D-pad is at the top, closest to the analog stick, and the longest section fits into that little gap there and clips back on the bottom. There we go. Nice protective housing. That's the analog sticks and the D-pad back in again. Just making sure those are tight enough. Next, so as you can see there, we have the bottom shell with the sections placed back in again for the additional triggers, etc., as well as the battery pack. We have 6 screws, all Torx 10s, I do believe. These have a little bit more force are required to screw these back in, but that's a good thing. It provides very stable connection between the controller itself and the shell. Again, what you want to do is make sure they're tight, but not too tight so that you are unable to unscrew them again in the future if you have any issues with the controller. Okay, we're going for a regular blue directional D-pad, and for the time being just short sticks going onto the analog sticks. At this point, I'm just putting the little guide plastic light back in there, and then clip this down. Make sure it's clipped in every section, a good bit of force all around. And there you have it, your custom Elite 2 with wacky design on the front. I just chose this design a little bit different. I went away from airbrushing this time around. This was more hand designed. This is very much to again just do something different, do something I haven't done before. So you've got several versions, several blue colours in there. You've got black, you've got gold, you've got white. It's a good abundance of colours, and obviously in person it also really stands out. A nice kind of vivid blue as well on the rear of the shell. As you can see, the controller works perfectly fine, turns on, all the ports there. Completely fine. All the buttons there for the remountable buttons are perfectly fine, and the grips are also ready to go. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, and I will see you guys again on Wednesdays for our usual midweek mix-up podcast. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Bye.